Would you like to be a friend of God? I sure want to be. So today I'm going to talk about our connection to heaven, to Jesus, and how we can keep this connection open and going, and what benefits it will bring to our life, what benefits it has brought to my life. So stay tuned and you will learn more about this. If you feel like religion is not fulfilling your spiritual needs, there is something more that God has in store for you. I'm Anne-Mari Manninen and this is the Voicer podcast. I created this podcast to share about a faith that ignites and endures the challenges we face in life. Over the last 2 decades, I have learned how to keep the fire of faith burning bright, and I'm excited to share these lessons with you. Visit our website voicer.fi to learn more and to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to another episode of Voicer Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to talk about our friendship with Jesus, with God, with the heavens, and how to keep that friendship and that connection open. So, as we know, God invites us, everyone who wants to be friends with Him, who wants to have that connection, He invites us all to have that connection. So, let's make that clear. It is for everyone. From His part, there is no limitation, there is no plan to have some friends and some don't, some nationalities, some people, some backgrounds. He invites everybody to have a connection with him and to be his friends. And for me, this friendship is very important, and to keep that connection open is very important. Uh, for this lifetime too, not only to be with the God I love for all eternity, but also for this time that I'm living on this earth. And sometimes in life, I need the help of my friends. I want to talk to them. I want to be with them. I want their encouragement. I want to encourage them. I just want the companionship of my friends. And so in very difficult situation, we may turn to our friends for help and ask them their opinion, what we should do. And so this friendship with God is a similar kind of friendship. You can talk to him. You can go to him when you are in trouble. And of course, his advice and his opinion is crucial and makes all the difference in difficult situations. And I have felt that to keep up this friendship, the one most important benefit to my life is that when I am in a difficult situation, I can immediately call to my friend and ask about what's going to happen, about his opinion and his help, and to call my God as a friend what he thinks I should do. And I think I don't want to walk this life only knowing that God is with me. I want to communicate with him daily and ask his opinion and share my thoughts with him and feel him close to me and feel him as a friend with me. And so I have used this connection uh, in difficult situations or just challenging life situations where I need that help immediately. And if you have this connection open, you can ask God's help and he will answer you quickly as a friend answers quickly to their friends whom they want to be with, whom they like, who they want to help. So I will tell you a story how I learned how valuable this connection is to Christians in different situations. So I believe it was 2007, and we had 2 kids, my husband Samuel and I, 2 kids, and we decided to make this trip to Europe, just a family vacation, just the 4 of us, and we decided to make an interrail trip where you go by train to different nations with your backpacks on. So we had our backpacks, we had our interrail ticket, and we had our tight budget, and we had our small kids and 2 buggies, 2 strollers we were pushing around, and it was really to be an adventure uh, for us as I believe it was the first time we went outside Finland for a trip as a family. So we went to Germany, and then we went to Austria, and we traveled in those countries by train, and everything went really well, and we had wonderful time. And then we were returning from Vienna to Frankfurt by train, and we have like made the schedule. We had it on paper, we had written it, how it would all go, and what was the next change, and when do we take a bus and go to the airport that would finally take us back home. And so the train from Vienna was late. It was really late. And so we were looking at our watch and looking at our schedule, and we were seeing that, okay, we might just make it to the next bus that would take us to the airport. And so as the train drew near Frankfurt, we were waiting on the door with the kids and everything ready to run to the bus stop that we could make that bus, which was the only bus that we could make it to our flight. We had made a pretty tight schedule, but everything had worked perfectly until that. So we were standing there, and the doors opened, and we hit running, like we were running like crazy. I think it was like 400 meters or whatever. We ran like crazy, pushing the kids in their strollers, and then run to the bus stop. And when we got there, the bus has just left, and we were standing there like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we were standing there, of course, exhausted and thinking like our brains were going, what are we going to do? And on that moment, I quickly released a question to my God that, what are we going to do? Are we going to be on that plane? And so I received, and the word was released to me that yes, you are going to be on that plane. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be on that plane. And that gave me the strength to be in that situation. And so we were standing there, uh, just thinking, what are we going to do? What are our options? We really, the situation was that we didn't have smartphones, and we didn't have, I believe we didn't have even a credit card, and our budget was tight, like so many young couples who are traveling. And so we didn't have money to go to an expensive hotel, and how would we even go to order online? We would have to find some hotel and book new flights and everything if we couldn't make it to our flight. And so we were thinking, what are we going to do? And so so right at that moment, a man walked to us, and because of course we looked like, what are we going to do? And he asked us our situation, and then he explained us to our options, and we came to the conclusion that we need to have a ride in 5 to 10 minutes, and even with that new ride, we are not sure if we are going to make it to our flight, because we have made the schedule so tight. Okay. And so he found us one guy, Indian guy, and he jumped into a car, and we jumped to the car, and he drove as fast as he could towards the airport, which was like hour and a half drive. And so he drove, and I remember it was pouring down rain, and I was sitting on the back seat with the kids and just saying, we are going to be on that flight. We are going to be on that flight. Just saying to myself the words I received from the Lord. And we came to the airport, and I remember jumping out of the car. It was pouring out rain, going to the airport and running to the counter to give our baggage there. And we were the last ones. They just closed the whole counter after us. We were the last ones to get in to that flight. And as I was sitting on that plane, I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you that it happened what you said. And so in that moment, I realized how important it is to have that connection open. And although I may not in that moment have I have used this possibility to connect to heaven and get that peace and have that reassurance that He has it all in control. In many situations, at that point, I was a young Christian, so I was feeling a bit nervous then. But it helped me, and I learned that every time I can ask from him, and he will answer and he will release that help as a friend to a friend. He will tell what's going to happen in that situation. And then we can have the benefit of when sudden situations come to our life, people usually are chaotic and they are like, what are we going to do? But if you have that answer from your friend, God, who will tell you if it's going to be okay or not, what's going to happen, you will have that peace, which will be the benefit, and you can share that peace to others, and they will be helped also by the influence you give to the situation, because you have the connection open to heaven and you are sharing what he says will happen. If he tells that you should pray and fight, or if he tells that everything is going to be okay. So I decided to keep this connection open because the help was so valuable to me in that situation. And so Jesus says in John 15, and I believe it's 15, 14 and 15, he says to his disciples this: "You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know what his master's business is. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you." So he wants us to be his friends. He wants us to keep this friendship alive. And I'm not talking about us being like best buddies with Jesus, but I'm talking about our friendship with the Helper, with the great King, that we can come before him and ask his help in difficult situation. And he doesn't want us only to be his servants. He wants us to be his friends. And friendship is a thing that is more like positive, maybe in our minds, than being a servant. And there is no shortcuts to being friend. As you know, in real life, there is no shortcuts. But it's all about our relationship and our effort and prioritizing, and how we value God and his involvement in our lives. And I already in that time, 2007, had been starting to put these the prioritizing God and making decisions to keep this connection open, start to put these in practice. And after that, I started to put them even more into practice, because I wanted this friendship, this connection, to be always open. So let's look about some things that are very basic that will help you to keep this connection open and help from your part, because from his part there is no limitations. He wants you to be his not only servant doing things for him, but also be your friend whom he can serve, whom he can share things. Like the disciples, he could share things with them, and he wants you to be his friend. So let's think about a few things that I have learned how to keep this connection open. So first thing is that you keep God first in your life. And you keep God first. It is just shown in everything you do. It is shown in your schedule, in how you speak, how you spend time, how you spend money, how you treat other people, who are you friends with, how you use your money, everything. It's shown in everything you do. And I have been involved in ministry about 20 years and pastoring for 10 years. And in all that time, I have never heard one spirit-filled Christian say that they don't put God first in their life. Nobody dares to say that. Everybody wants to think that they have God first in their lives. But what I have wanted to say to people as they tell me that God is first in their life and they sing it and they say it, I wanted to say that please don't just say it, but show me how God is first in your life. Show me in your actions how you prefer God to any other things in your life, how you put him first in your everyday life, and show it to me, because that's where it counts, what you do, and not only what you say, but what are you your actions. And sometimes I have just said, just don't lie. Be quiet. Don't say that God is first in your life if He's not really first in your life. And sometimes people don't like that you say this, and some people leave the church. Some people just are silent and are start to think about it and make changes. And some people sadly keep on lying and never put God first and stay in the church atmosphere, but never feel that benefit of His friendship, because that's so important that you put God first in your life. And I can assure you that God understands the language of works. It's not foreign to him. He understands when you put effort to keep him close, to keep him as your friend. He understands that very well. As do I, as a mother. I understand it when my 9-year-old boy decides that he wants his weekly allowance. So he does his chores, and he does extra chores to make sure that he gets the money we give him every week. I understand that language very well. And so does God. He understands the effort. He understands you putting some energy into your relationship with him. And do you know what? You may have like acquaintances and friends, and some friends are people you want to answer quickly because they are your friends, and you know that they value your friendship and you value their friendship, and you answer them quickly. Then, and there are some people, and you don't want to answer them so quickly because they are all the time asking something from you without bringing anything to the relationship. And you need to think like this with God. If you want to keep this connection open, if you want to be friends with God, you need to think it like this. And you need to understand, as Jesus was speaking in the Bible to his disciples, they were disciples who had left everything to put Jesus and his ministry and his message first in their lives. So they were these kind of people, and they were called God's friends. And there were different kind of people in that bunch of 12 people. So I think we all can find ourselves in that group somewhere. So different backgrounds and different kind of people. So God does not limit this friendship to only certain kind of people, but He wants to be friends with everybody. But then you keep God first, okay. And then secondly, uh, friends, if you are friends with somebody and they have a business, you want to forward their business. You want to support it. So the second thing is that forward God's plans on this earth. And if you are friends with God, you voluntarily support his cause any way you can. You cheer the cause of God, you support it with your energy, with your time, and you even make it your life's mission to support God's business on this earth. And that shows that you are his friend, because you support his cause and support his things on this earth. You value them and you forward them as much as you can in your life. And so then the third thing is that you keep yourself always available for God, like friends do. You keep yourself always available for your finances, your time, your family, everything you have, your talents. You keep them available for God in case He has a need of them. So you keep them. You have the attitude that they are always available for you, God, to use any way you can. And even if you are in a life situation when you are gathering money for purchase something big, or do something like purchase a car or something, you just keep it available for God in case He has a need of it, in case He, as a friend, asks it for his use. But so you don't take any area of your life that is not available for God to use. And you will not be lacking anything. There is no person who is really given to God and wanting to support his ministry that is lacking anything in their life, because the word of God says that you will get everything if you put his kingdom first in your life. So he will give, and in our Finnish Bible, it says, I believe it's Psalm 127, it says that God can give to his friends while they are sleeping. So God can find ways to reward you and give you back if you ever give him and forward his plan and give your life available for him in any situation. And I don't know, just maybe if you are this kind of person that God can turn to in some things he needs to done on this be done on this earth, you may even end up being a person that he brags about in the heavens to his angels, that look, there is my friend, he does everything I ask him to or her to do. I can ask anything and they will do it. They are always available. So you can guess who he contacts first if he needs something to be done on this earth, or if he has a plan he wants to release on this earth. Of course, his friend who has this connection open to heaven. So he delights in giving us our heart's desire because we are his friends. And I have felt that prioritizing God, seeking, putting God first in my life, forwarding his plans in my life, in this earth, and then keeping myself available for him all the time, these have brought me the benefit of that open connection to heaven, of that open heaven, that friendship, that whenever I need, he will turn to me and help. And so let me read again this John 15, 14 and forth. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. So, God needs this kind of people around this earth that are his friends and who can share this open connection to others and help people who are in difficult situation and have this chaotic atmosphere of this world above them, so that his friends can bring peace and bring shalom, bring that help, bring that word from God to other people. And he needs this kind of peoples with an open connection to heaven everywhere around this world. Thank you for listening to this Voicer podcast. You can visit voicer.fi and learn more about this podcast and subscribe to this podcast so you can know when the next episode comes out. And let's keep our faith burning and and our faith enduring, and let's keep this valuable connection to heaven, to our God, open as we value him as a friend in our lives.